Hey, BrandMaster Martina, Britt, Yelverton here, and I'm speaking directly to my brand new Gen X speaker entrepreneurs. You know you have a powerful message to share, and now you're ready to step onto that stage, but you're stuck. You don't know where to start, how to get booked, or how to turn your speaking into actual income. Well, guess what? You're in the right place. As a Gen X myself, focusing my 2 decades of branding expertise exclusively on helping brand new speakers like you go from stuck and struggling to booked all the way to the bank. As the lead developer for the SpeakerCon 2025 virtual experience, brand strategist for Global Speakers University, and visionary of the Brand U agency, I know exactly what personal brand and business systems you need to launch your speaking career. Here's the different approach in this AI intensive market. I don't overcomplicate it. We're going to get your assets in order and build you a speaker brand from the ground up, one that is uniquely you, leverages AI, simplifies automations, positions you as the expert, and attracts the right opportunities to your value, your vision, and your voice. You're not alone, nor watching from the sidelines. You're actually building right alongside other brand new speakers who are also done being stuck. Every week I provide content so you can stop overthinking and start speaking. You'll get behind the scenes access to my methodology, real client case studies, and step-by-step strategies you can implement to launch your speaker brand. Each week we're live for Watch Me Work Wednesdays and set up Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bring your questions because it's real, it's raw, and it's about helping you get started while navigating life. This truly is a no gatekeeping community and a judgment free zone. You don't need decades of experience to deserve premium positioning. You just need the right foundation so that your wisdom and your value can stand. Guys, let's actually hope and pray that you were actually available to hear all of that. I am checking on my backup and I am trying to verify that the volume is active. Let's see. All right, so the volume is active on my end. So hopefully you guys were able to hear that information. Hey, y'all. Hey, Brandmaster Martina Britt Yelverton here, your cash flow queen and founder of the Brand U Agency, Family First Designs, which is literally equipped to help you guys go from new, stuck, or struggling to actually gaining impact and influence inside of your own personal or lifestyle brand so that you attract people to you that need your value, your vision, and your voice. But before we do any attracting, we want to verify that we have gotten our assets in order so that we are broadcasting out into the eon exactly what it is we desire to broadcast out into the eon. And one of the ways that we do that is we actually go through 5 stages to learn, lead, and level up on this personal journey to get your assets in order. And the best way I have found using my own personal experience as well as client testimonies to get that done is to go through these 5 steps: to learn, to lead, and then to level up, right? And in the leading aspect, there is a breakdown in your value, your vision, and your voice, just to give you a quick overview of what it is that you're looking at. So I hope with the intro that you just experienced that you understand what the full picture here is at the Brand U Agency and me as your brand master, how I am endeavoring to get these things done, right? So today specifically, if you were paying attention to your email that was just sent you, I opened the email with a question that asked, do you worry if your business looks good enough to garner the professional, high-end, good, great, better clients, right? And if you are wondering how you're going to translate your decades of wisdom into a compelling personal story, a lifestyle brand that will command attention in today's digital market, if you are feeling overwhelmed with that task, I am breaking down the simple steps that we utilize along the way to get it done. And today we are discussing Canva. So I understand that it's frustrating when you spend hours of time trying to make your brand look a specific way. And you may begin to get confused, frustrated, overwhelmed, because you're trying to piece together different aspects of the design, trying to formulate that into formulate from a strategy that will actually work, right? You may be using various online sources and you'll end up with analysis paralysis, right? You'll end up with shiny object syndrome. You'll end up overwhelmed with no clear direction, no visual brand. Your message may get lost in all of that, and it's going to leave you with a very stealth feeling that you're not able to do this. And my goal is to actually break this down into simplistic steps to endeavor to empower you to be able to do that. Okay. First, you must believe that it can be done. And once you believe that it can be done, then I'm going to assist you with getting your assets in order and getting the dang thing done. Okay. And so every brand, every business, every idea, every thought, every energy source literally starts with something that is burning inside you, which can then translate into a visual something or another, right? So that you will have something in front of you to move forward with, right? As a speaker, event planners are actually judging your visual brand. They're judging what they see even before they ever hear you speak. And so if your colors are a mess, if your fonts are all over the place, if your logo looks like it was made in 1999, right? Then you're telling them that you are an amateur. If you are starting out on the personal brand journey, if you are trying to scale in the business realm, and all of your materials, all of your content, your websites, your funnels, the information that you're putting out, your posts look a hot mess. It's actually in one area, it looks pink, but in another area, it looks green, but your brand colors are blue. That is going to pose a problem. And that is a roadblock to you being able to scale. Okay. And so today we're going to discuss 3 to 7 points to help you guys walk through the process of getting started. Most people have a problem getting started. And so today we're going to tackle you just getting started, right? Because you may be stuck back at part 1. The cost of confusion. You may be stuck at, why are you putting content out and it's not converting? Because people are confused. Why are they not buying? Because they're confused. You know, a confused mind does not buy. Again, you could have LinkedIn looking blue and professional, right? But then your website is neon pink, and then they go to your social media platforms and it's chaotic. There's no systematic look. There's no ongoing thing. Event planners are looking at that and they do not trust you. People are looking, those people that you have attracted to you are looking at that and they are confused and they don't trust you. They definitely don't know you enough to delve further to see that you might just be trying to get your assets in order, right? They don't know that. But the bottom line is they don't trust you enough to make a buying decision to opt into you. They're not going to invest in themselves when it looks like you have not invested in yourself as the brand, as the business. Okay. Now, speaking of a brand, and that first step that we're talking about to help you get your assets in order. And yes, it's get your assets in order, right? Because I'm country girl. Y'all know this. In order for you to move along this line, the first thing that we want to do is understand what a brand is. And again, I say this all the time. I understand many of you who are here inside of the brand new community, those of you who may be just catching this information once you see it available inside of a replay, you may be thinking, I don't even know what a brand is. Can you help me with that? Well, here's the beautiful thing. I have plenty of content that goes through what a brand is. But quick, fast, and in a hurry, a brand is you. A brand is the vision, the thought, the idea that outside people have in their minds about you before they ever even encounter you. It's the promise that you put out there that they have received and they have nestled in their mind. That is your brand. Your brand resides in their mind. You know how they used to be out there where the money resides? Well, your money resides in their minds. Okay. And so if you haven't taken the opportunity to go through the tedious process, the time-consuming process of thinking through what it is that you are known for, what you feel your value is, what you feel you have to give to God's green earth, then that is where you need to go back up, right? And you need to start making yourself aware of what it is that you have to offer before you begin making others aware of what it is that you have to offer. That starts again up here in the awareness process. Now, I would be fancy here and turn on my annotations and all that, but it'll be just my luck to push the wrong button and something to happen, okay? So we're not going to do that. Up here, number one, you have to understand and make yourself aware before you make others aware. And as you begin to make others aware, you want to make sure that you're making them aware as organized as possible, because you've taken the time to think through the process, you pre-plan, and now that you're writing and executing the plan, what you're putting out makes sense to them. One of the easiest tools that you can utilize in your brand, now that you have a little bit better of understanding of what a brand is, again, it's what? The idea that they have in their mind about you, that you have actually put out there, they have received, and now they have decided that is your brand, okay? Hate to say you have no control over that, what they're thinking is, but you do have control over the energy, the content, and everything that you put out. You want to be specific, consistent, and you want to make sure that you are relevant and relatable, okay? As long as you keep it consistent, whatever bad ideas they have, your good ideas and your good energy and your good consistency will weed out the bad, okay? You want to utilize a software called Canva, okay? Now, I do have complete training on branding, right? And it comes with a cheat sheet. So you don't have to sit through the entire YouTube video trying to take notes. The cheat sheet is a fill in the blank. So as you're watching it, you can fill in the blank and you end up with a beautiful set of notes that you will be able to relate to, which will make it memorable. It's visually appealing and all that. So if you take the opportunity and you go to cheat sheet.martinabrityelverton.com, if you go here, this is what it looks like. It's fill in the blank. So as you're watching the video, you're able to fill this out, and now you will understand what a brand is. This is a form that was created in Google Docs, right? These colors, these images, and all of that, these were created inside Canva. So as we bridge and get into Canva, understand that I'm going to show you the Canva system in brief, right? And then we are going to walk through on a separate training all of the idiosyncrasies that are inside of Canva so that you can understand how to best use it. But first and foremost, I need for you to understand, if you're trying to get over the overwhelm, the first thing I want to say to you inside of the Canva system is you need to have thought about what you're going to Canva for before you ever open it. It is a beautiful, deep rabbit hole of good, right? But it will overwhelm you if you have not thought through prior to the reason that you are getting into the system. So I'm actually going to go over to canva.martinabrityelverton.com. Again, if you don't have a Canva account, you can go to canva.martinabrityelverton.com and get your free Canva account. Choose to upgrade later if you want to. When you open yours up, it will be blank like that which you see on the screen. Why? Because you don't have the massive amount of files and information and clients that I have. So yours will look different. It will be blank when you first open it, right? What you're seeing are client files, client projects, recent information, lots and lots of client data here inside of my Canva account. Again, if you are new to Canva, yours will be blank. You will have this bar that tells you that there are different templates and things like that, but yours will not look like this. So again, when you go to your Canva account, yours will not look like this. It will be blank, okay? What we're focused on specifically today is this left menu panel over here. Again, once you go to canva.martinabrityelverton.com, you get your own free Canva account. You will still have this panel over here on the left. Mine is full of details right here in the second menu. Yours will be blank, okay? We're focused today on this little area right here called a brand kit, okay? So what you're currently looking at are some of the templates that I have set up in my brand kit, but what we're focused on specifically are the brand kit color palettes, right? So what you want to have available and what you want to do is ensure for you to use Canva as simplistically as possible. And trust me, it's going to be tempting to go into Canva and to immediately start looking at all the templates. I promise you, you will be overwhelmed, you will be confused, and you will be disjointed. So don't do that to yourself, okay? Understand how to use the very key critical areas first so you can stop guessing and start building. If you're on the DIY plan, you can start building this yourself. You can make yourself available to give your brand master or give the person who is assisting you with building your brand a brand kit to work with. Trust and believe me, I have clients who have massive brands already out there, who have no brand guidelines, who have no strategy guide, who have no identity system set up. And they'll come and they'll say, hey, can you build me a website? Or can you be my social media director? Or can you, post content for me? Or can you create me a funnel? But they have no assets in place. And literally you have to backtrack before you can move forward. So save yourself the headache, take the time to actually think through what you want before you sit down with an expert, and then you can allow them to take your ideas and actually mesh them with what the internet is actually looking for, put those together, and now you will be able to move forward more expeditiously than if you decide to have to bring someone something, ask them for something, and then they have to backtrack before they can move forward. Trust me, it can be extremely frustrating, and I want to save you that frustration, okay? So what you're looking at here inside of Canva, all I did was go on the left panel here, and I selected brand. Again, your work will be blank. So just for the purposes of showing you this, I can select create a new brand kit, and this is what you will come upon when you come into it, and you will type your brand kit name, not your business name, because first we work from a personal brand before we move into a lifestyle brand or into a business brand, okay? Type that name here, your name, right? And if you want to understand more about why I say your name, it's because people are introduced to you, they're going to remember you. I don't care how good your product is. I don't care how great your offer is. I don't care how wonderfully amazing your website is. They're going to remember your name first. So own your name on the web. Nobody knew the internet was going to be what it is today. So I suggest you own your name. I own my name, variations of my name, and my kid's name. So own your name. All right. Start with your name here, and then you would say create. Once you create, your name will appear up here, and you will have blank options here. You won't have anything here. You will have to go over here and you will have to select to add new. Add a new palette, add a new color, add a new category, or something like that, right? Now, you're probably wondering, Martina, well, where did you get these colors from? Hey, there are various options that you can utilize to determine what specific colors you choose to use. Yes, as a personal brand, you will want to utilize colors that you zhuzh with, colors that you mesh with, colors that make sense to you, right? But then you want to pay attention to who your market is, who it is you're actually introducing your value to, and make sure there is a market match. So for me, because green is vibrant, green is growth, green is money, green is actually an indication of a person first encountering my brand, I like for them to start at the green level. Then I like for them to ascend to the blue level. These are out of order. Yes, I could fix it, but the way this is set up, I would literally have to go in. When it says reorder palette, that's just going to move it up or down. That's not going to change the colors in here. No, I did not want to go through the headache of switching this orange and this blue and then moving on. But green is the entry of my brand. All right. Most times when you're encountering my information, you're going to encounter me because you've located me online, and you're going to see a lot of black first, right? Because that is a base foundation. People are in the dark. There's a methodology behind that. People are in the dark when they come to the BrandMaster. And my goal is to turn them from being in the dark to shining a little bit of green growth into their life, right? And then once they move beyond that, I like taking them up a value ladder where then they go from being in the dark, not really understanding, and they go from being in the green to now they're a little bit blue. They've actually gotten some growth, and then they explode into the orange. This is the mindset behind the way that I send people through my value. You're in the dark first, you come into a little bit of light, you get a little bit of growth in you, a little bit of mindset in you, you actually feel good, and then you get a little bit of money in you, okay? And then you ascend into the blue. because you're trusting what's going on. You're feeling good about it, right? And then you explode over into the orange, and then we launch you out into the yellow. There's other methodologies behind that, but this is me thinking through the process that I want my clients to understand when they work with me. You'll have to do the same for what your process means for you as well. And the way that you actually add colors is none of these colors will be here in your account. You select add new, and then you actually can move this around to locate a color similar, and then you are available to click it to add it, because now you can have what that hex code is down here. You can also add a CMYK. You can also add other options depending on what it is. An RGB, that's a red, blue, green. RGB, red, green, blue, which is typically for online and screen prints. CMYK, this is your cyan, magenta, your yellow, and your black for printing is the difference. And the hex code, which is the one that starts with a hashtag, this hex code will actually, if you give someone a hex code, they can find your online RGB as well as your CMYK print colors from your hex code. So focus on your hex code. Once you move this around and figure out what color you actually like that vibes well, then you can actually add that and you will have your color palette. Okay. Next, you want to think about what you can do as far as the fonts that you enjoy. Okay. You want to move into your fonts next. Why your fonts next? Because you're really in control of the fonts that you choose to use. Logos, you want an expert, or you want to start with a Canva design logo, and then take that base Canva design, your thoughts or your ideas, take those to an expert and ask them, hey, create me a custom logo so that I can go through utilizing it, getting it registered, getting it trademarked, and things like that, and I can begin to utilize it throughout my brand. Don't sleep on Canva. It will give you some great ideas on how to move up this branding journey, okay? But again, you can move into the fonts next. Once you move into the fonts, yours will look like this, and you can click on each one and then click the font drop down to find fonts that mesh and match with the things you will be utilizing it on. If you're looking here, you're going to see a lot of Montserrat colors, Montserrat fonts, because that is my preferred font. Montserrat, Open Sans, Enter, Arial, fonts like these are the clean, open fonts that I prefer. I have other clients like Seed Planting. They have more of a serif to their letters, and they are using fonts like Autumn and Century Gothic that actually have different accents to their fonts. So here, you'll see they have a clean font here. However, in their logo, this is, even though it's a sans serif font, it has a little bit more fancy compared to this area over here. I have other clients, let's see, who has a more traditional, I think Faith Missionary May, not 100%. Nope, they are a they are a sans serif font as well. I'm trying to think who may have more of a, I don't think what's the same Sportsman's Club. I think theirs is more of a sans serif as well. Basically, the difference is a clean font. Yeah, like I said, theirs is a sans serif as well. A clean font comparative to more of a fancy or more of a bookman font. Well, let's see if I can show you. So, and I don't know why I didn't think about that to begin with. Playfair has more of a look to it. If you guys can see that here, see how their edges to the title. See, title has more of a fanciness, for lack of a better word, on that T than the clean look of the subtitle. So you want to think, look through, find like Proxinova, Canva Sans. These are all fonts that I enjoy. However, when I'm moving more into fancy, I have to think about other clients who actually have, a need for a more collegiate. Like if I look at the most recent brand that I did for Global Speakers University, their main header font is a Meriwether font. Now it has a serif to its letters versus The body of the content does not. And so we'll get that one to come up again. I'm running Zoom, Canva, and all of these. You see how the font here is a little bit more fancy. There's that serif on the T. It's not just a straight line. There's a little bit of edge here, a little bit of fanciness, but it's not too bad. See the serif that's up here on the K's and the L's? They aren't just straight solid lines. They have a little bend to them to give them a little bit of elegance comparative to other fonts who are just solid. See, there's a little bit of fancy here with the peaks of the K. But when you get into the CEO, it's a C, a E, and an O compared to the fancy E that's in speakers compared to the solid, straightforward E that's here in CEO. That was intentional, okay? And so you want to think about those things when you're putting together your fonts, okay? Why? Why do you want to think about that? Because you want to make sure that your text emotes energy that is going to be aligned with your complete brand. I want people, when they look at my brand, to think clean, easy, simple, right? However, when you're moving into a collegiate brand, like I just showed you with the GSU, they have collegiate behind them. They have more of a banner, an emblem, more of a, collegiate. Like I said, it's not simplistic. It is more advanced. It is elevated. It is a next level. Everything that I do from the Brand You Agency is very clean with a slight bit of elegance, but my elegance comes inside of scripts versus emblems like the leaves that are here. So think about that when you're thinking about what do you want your text energy to give, as well as what do you want your colors to give. These are the first two and most important things that you want to have available inside of the information that you give in your branding. I hope that makes sense. I hope that wasn't too overwhelming. I hope it wasn't too much for you to be able to consume. But these are things that you want to think about, and you can plug all of that directly here into Canva. So once you go through, choosing your colors and you're looking at all your various colors and you move into your fonts and you're deciding on what your font's going to be, then you can move into choosing elements that will eventually be your logo. Again, you want to take and work inside templates that are available in Canva. If you don't already have a graphic designer who's designed your logo, because you'll need to move to additional things after the logo. That logo is the representation of so much. I talk about that in depth inside of the video that I told you that you can get when you go to cheatsheet.martinabrityelverton.com. You're available to go to Simplified Print Brand, SPB, Simplified Print Brand, SPB.martinabrityelverton.com to watch the video that is available there. I have a more recent one on the YouTube channel. And the way that you can locate that one a little bit easier is if you go to the YouTube channel, that's youtube.martinabrityelverton.com. I hope you're hearing the simplicity of how to remember all this. Okay, you can go here and you can go to this little, what do you call this? A magnifying glass. This is your search, and you can type in print brand. You can type in web brand, you can type in whichever one, okay? And that's going to bring you here to part 1 of 3. I have a 3-part video that's also available on my website. But again, I talk about owning your name now, why it's important to do that. All of this dealing with branding, you can find out more there. You can actually go there. You can type in logo, because that's where we were. We were discussing the logo, how to understand a logo design, what is the price is, what is the process. This is a few years old, but the details, the process is still the same. Even if logo design is different now, back in January, I discussed how to design a logo and a tagline that stands out. Again, this one is more recent, just as recent as last year. And I talk a lot about understanding your brand throughout my entire channel. If you go to the homepage, and you scroll down, you'll be able to look at each of the playlists for your specific need, okay? So that is available to you. But again, you want to make sure that you go through the process of filling out this brand kit inside of Canva so that by the time you move on to the next video in the sequence where I began to discuss with you later on in the week. We're going to be discussing the 3 things that your brand kit must have. Obviously, you need to have your colors, your fonts, and your logos. But in addition to that, you're going to need to have headshots and things like that, because the event planners want to see who they're bringing to a speaking. The people who are looking to get in connection with your personal brand, they want to see who they're connecting with. When you're looking at building the business, they want to know and see who it is that they will be working with, collaborating with, and getting their education from. So you want to make sure that you have those things, and we'll go further down this rabbit hole here in Canva, outside of Canva, but we'll talk about implementing and creating different templates and different setups so that you can get from those colors into something like this, a finalized design, where you will be able to create a caricature, you will be able to have your logo, utilizing your fonts, getting your QR codes, and be able to consistently put out brands or flyers or thumbnails or items that look like this, so that you can have different types of media that's still branded, even though the colors have changed, even though the placements have changed. This is still all consistently one brand, one band, one sound, right? You want to have one direction, and you want to be able to make sure that anytime someone encounters your brand, they know exactly who it is. They already have an idea of what to expect. It's simple, it's clear. They know exactly what it is that they're going to get from you, and they're going to be more relaxed and more open to learn and hear from you. And again, as long as you deepen that consistent impression, then the quicker you will be able to ascend to whatever your impact and increase goal is. So I hope this makes sense to you. I hope you guys were able to glean some quick ways that you can jump right into Canva easily, begin to utilize it, and begin to build out your own personal brand if you're doing it yourself, or you're working with me or another brander who can assist you either doing do it yourself, do with you, or have it done for you. Thank you again so much for your time on today. I greatly appreciate it. And as I said, I hope you've been able to glean something of value from the information that I have shared with you. And I look forward to seeing you on the next segment of this, which should be a Teach You Tuesday, so I can actually teach you a little bit more in depthly here inside of Canva.